From Minneapolis, Minnesota, you're watching NABJ TV News.
NABJ President Bob Butler responds to accusations of financial mismanagement during his time in office.
And if you missed the 2015 presidential debate, you missed a battle for who will be the next woman to bring NABJ into the future. Coming up, we'll have the highlights from the debate.
A lot of journalists are leaving the field and taking their skills to other professions. Why the mass exodus and how it's affecting NABJ. Journalists from around the world continue to make their way to Minneapolis today for the 40th annual NABJ convention. Good evening, I'm Marcel Warfield.
And I'm Valerie Young. Those already here at the convention were greeted with a busy first day. This week, the National Association of Black Journalists kicked off its 40th annual convention in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Attendees were greeted at the opening reception with a host of nostalgic treats to celebrate the special anniversary. The event recognized the 44 founders as well as the past presidents. Members showcased the top 10 greatest moments over the past 40 years, from the President Obama's visit to the convention and the organization's trip to the White House, to moving to the office from a home facility to the University of Maryland. Journalists were given the opportunity to network, reconnect, and reflect at the ceremony. Our NABJ Students Project program was also recognized. Accusations of financial mismanagement are raising questions about how NABJ is using its resources. The allegations of excessive travel expenses include hotel stays, ground transportation, and meals. We sent Lebo Mokina to take a closer look at the numbers. He joins us now with what he found out.
Over the last 3 years, the NABJ board's travel expenses amounted to just under $200,000. We managed to obtain official NABJ documents, and here's what we found. Most of the travel expenses date back to the days that current NABJ president Bob Butler was still vice president of broadcast. In 2013, Butler's expenses as vice president totaled to more than $13,000. In 2014, as president, his expenses grew more than $28,000. When compared to his predecessor, former President Greg Lee, Lee's total travel expenses as president in 2013 were more than $9,000. President Butler calls the allegations of mismanagement distorted and salacious.
Then you have stories that are put out there that are just flat out wrong, especially about the travel expenses. There was a story published a while back about, the NABJ's board spent $200,000 in travel over 2 years. Sounds alarming when you figure $100,000 a year, but they couldn't even read the reports that were put out. It was for 3 years, not 2 years, and it was within budget. So there's no story there, but you can make stuff up, and that's what they did.
In his tenure as president and vice president of broadcast, Butler says he met face-to-face with various organizations that require travel. He says those meetings helped him foster partnerships with other organizations such as the National Association of Hispanic Journalists and the Asian American Association of Journalists and others. He also met with current, potential, and corporate partners. You can find an in-depth look and breakdown of the organization's finances on themonitor.org. The issue of NABJ's finances will fall on the shoulder of the new administration that will be elected this year.
Thanks, Lebo.
Every organization needs great leadership, and this year there are 2 candidates for the president of NABJ. Reporter Rachel Scott caught up with the women vying to become the organization's 20th president.
I am the one who's ready to hit the ground running as your next NABJ president.
It's time for a fresh start. It's time to reimagine NABJ for the digital age.
It's time for one final push. NABJ presidential candidates Myra Lowe and Sarah Glover want your attention and your vote.
What I bring is I bring the outside into the association, bringing those relationships, bringing in the knowledge.
A feature editor for CNN, Lowe says that outside experience makes her the perfect candidate. At the top of her list?
So alliances, online training, and presenting and telling our story better.
While Glover says it's all about the money.
Finances is going to be the focal point of our organization because, you can have great ideas till tomorrow morning, but if you don't have the resources to put those ideas into play, they're just ideas.
Glover, a social media editor for NBC, wants to assure members that she can get the job done.
I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. So I'd like to get down to the business of our organization and move us forward.
You can vote on your phone or you can vote near the registration booth in Exhibit Hall B. Either way, the candidates say it doesn't matter how you cast your ballot as long as you do.
I think every member has or should want to have a voice in the leadership of this association.
Both candidates insist it's not about them, but the organization, which means working together, win or lose. Rachel Scott, NABJ.
The last day to vote is Friday. For more information on the candidates, visit nabjmonitor.org.
For the first time in 4 years, a woman will be president of NABJ. But which woman will take the seat? I was at the presidential debate and got reaction from attendees.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for the 2015 presidential candidate debate.
Good luck to you.
Two different candidates.
I love NABJ.
I'm a former NABJ baby.
Several positions.
Finance is number one. Media Institute number two, and advocacy.
It will elevate, it will educate, and it will engage.
One thing is certain. The next NABJ president will be a woman for the first time in 4 years, which some say is impressive.
We don't see a lot of females in, or a lot of women, I should say, in leadership positions.
The debate gave Myra Lowe and Sarah Glover a chance to discuss their individual platforms.
In addition to looking at new revenue streams, it's really also about limiting spending.
We have to get better at building relationships with new funders.
People who watched the debate say they were pleased with what they heard from both candidates.
I think both candidates touched on really important issues, specifically finance and retention. It's really spoke about some pressing issues, especially for me. I love that they brought up the topics of students because I am a student.
Good luck to you.
This was the first online live stream presidential debate produced by the Student Multimedia Project. Just go to the monitor.org to watch the entire debate. The field of journalism is turning into a revolving door. Journalists are leaving the field and transitioning to other careers. NABJ TV's Zora Stevenson joins us now with details on why people are deciding to leave and how it's impacting NABJ.
Valerie, journalists have been leaving the field for years, but now it's earlier than usual. Former journalists say it's because of the uncertainty of the business.
Educators.
It's an exciting time.
Public affairs professionals.
I was covering so much crime.
All former journalists.
And my boss said to me, hey, I would love for you to stay, but you're probably going to have to take a pay cut.
1 year after hearing that, Mark Willis left television news.
I took that opportunity.
Now he works for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Oh, that's kind of a natural transition.
Television reporter Delano Massey says people have been switching careers for years.
What I think is unique now is that more people are looking for those parachutes. Like, they're looking for opportunities to kind of jump ship.
That's one reason why professional journalists who pay attention to industry trends know they aren't the only ones who generate information.
Anyone can post to Twitter.
Anyone can upload a video to YouTube, and as journalism changes, professional organizations change as well.
We're living in a time that's very uncertain. A lot of layoffs are happening in the industry, and many people get into other industries because they don't have a choice.
To adjust with the changing times, NABJ amended their constitution to include more than just journalists. Educators and media personnel can now be members. Members of those groups say the changes were necessary.
So by opening it up and making the definition broader, we're just meeting the needs of more people.
Willis said that a lot of his journalism skills transferred to his current job.
We can all communicate with each other to help each other, get our jobs done better and easier.
Proof that the business is transitioning? Well, this is the first year we've had an academic representative on the board, and the media-related representative has been revamped. Visit themonitor.org for information on those positions and the history behind them being added.
Thanks, Zora. In Zora's package, the featured transitioning journalist Mark Willis. He is one of 3 candidates running for NABJ's media-related representative position. The other candidates are Terry Allen and Tansy West-Barber. The elections are underway. Candidates are taking time out to meet voters.
Coming up, see why the candidates for NABJ Vice President of Broadcast say they deserve your vote.
It's the end of an era. We'll take a look at the legacy and the impact of NABJ President Bob Butler.
NABJ has been a tremendous resource to me. The networks and relationships that I've built have really impacted my career and made me a much better professional.
All of us at WCCO TV are honored to support the National Association of Black Journalists.
Your commitment to recognizing and developing talent and providing programs and services to black journalists worldwide is truly inspiring.
Thank you, NABJ.
People say content is king for a reason. It's what draws you in, makes you stay, keeps you coming back for more. Your options are endless, but you want one local news source you can trust. You want WCCO. We're telling your stories and sharing your experiences from all four corners of this great state. People say content is king. WCCO, always.
People used to ask me all the time if I got excited during severe weather. Ooh, tornadoes, is that like, yes, this is what I got into the business for? The answer is no. I hate when tornadoes hit because nothing good comes of it. But it's a reality, and it's something I'm prepared to cover when it hits.
With election week upon us, oftentimes everyone is so focused on the presidential election that they forget about the vice presidents.
Daniel's in studio now to tell us the latest on the campaign trail. Daniel?
Have you voted yet? Well, candidates for NABJ leadership would like you to get involved. One highly competitive race is for vice president of broadcast. Here's what the three candidates told me when asked why they deserve your vote. NABJ convention goers have until Friday to vote for 2015 election candidates. Incumbent Vice President of Broadcast, Dedrick Russell, wasn't shy about sharing why he feels he should retain his position.
I have a greater sense of readiness because I've been on the board, I've been there, I've done that, I was there. So since I have a greater sense of readiness, I can start and lead from day one.
While Russell touts his experience, WBBM-TV reporter Dorothy Tucker has her sights on the future.
iPhones and computers and iPads, that's where the jobs are. The digital companies, that's where they are hiring. Probably the number one thing they will learn from me, these are the tools.
ESPN's Galen Gordon has a tool of his own he plans to use if elected, one he hopes will boost awareness of employment needs.
With this database I'm creating, the industry will know who you are and where you are. And I think that's most important for our freelancers, those that are in between jobs, and even our current members that are looking to be promoted or move on to other opportunities.
Now, voters have until Friday at 5 p.m. to cast their vote for NABJ leadership, and they can either vote through nabj.monitor.com or they can vote in person at the convention.
All right, thank you so much.
No, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Time sure does fly. NABJ President Bob Butler took office in 2013, and this week his term comes to an end.
In an interview with NABJ TV, Butler revealed his proudest achievement as president is expanding NABJ's training program beyond the border of the U.S.
In 2014, we approached the Ford Foundation about getting some funding to bring some African journalists here to our convention. Last year, we had 2 African journalists from South Africa. They both did very well. Pranesha Naidu and Azizar Masupi. They're both back in South Africa now working, and this time Ford Foundation gave us money for 4 students. And they are now here getting this training. They don't know what they're in for, but they're gonna have a heck of a time, working very hard with you guys. That, to me, is legacy.
Butler says he's also proud of establishing a benevolence program for sick or deceased NABJ members and for new policies for NABJ president transitional meetings. Check out what members are saying about Butler's impact on the organization at nabjmonitor.org.
We saw comfortable conditions across the Twin Cities for the last several days, but let's take a look at the current temperatures right now, as those will soon change in the near future. By the airport, 77 degrees right now, 74 degrees in areas like St. Paul Park. Now let's zoom out more of the region. 78 degrees in Crystal right now, 75 in St. Paul. So those temperatures are ranging in the 70s, and check out those dew point levels in the upper 50s, as well as some parts are in the 60s. 60 for St. Paul, and by tomorrow we'll begin to see more dew point levels in the 60s as a lot more humidity begins to filter throughout the area. Let's take a look at our satellite and radar. We see a few clouds out there, but a bulk of the storms remains towards the west of us. Now those will soon track towards us, and that will help influence our rain chances by the end of the week. And I'll show you a little bit more about that in just a bit. But tomorrow, if you're heading out, maybe for a jog to see the area, 67 degrees around 7 o'clock, conditions becoming more humid. Our temperatures warming up to the upper 70s by noon, winds coming in from the southeast. And check this out, by 5 o'clock, there's a possibility for a few showers and thunderstorms across the area. Now that will be more confined towards the western side of the state, but temperature is expected to peak at around 80 degrees just around 5 o'clock. And look at our high temperatures for tomorrow, ranging in the upper 70s for some parts, even the 80s. 80 degrees for the Twin Cities tomorrow, 79 in St. Cloud, and just 77 in Grand Rapids for tomorrow. Now, showers and thunderstorms are likely to set up more on the eastern side of the state. Now, those showers and thunderstorms are likely to track towards the east just around the afternoon hours. The Twin Cities looking at a dose of showers. Now, these showers will elongate from Brainerd all the way down to the Twin Cities. All the while, we'll have pockets of on and off periods of rain throughout the afternoon. Those showers and thunderstorms likely to continue to track towards the east, even in the overnight hours. We cannot rule out a possibility for a few showers over the Twin Cities. All the while, look at those clouds just building in, and our skies will begin to clear from west to the east for our Friday morning. So by Friday night, I know a lot of you guys want to know about Friday night. Conditions will become partly cloudy by Friday night. Now there is a slight risk for severe weather activity for tomorrow, which is Thursday, and that is likely to be more confined towards the southwest parts of the state, and we'll continue to keep an eye on that. But let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Temperature expected to peak at 80 degrees for Thursday. Cannot rule out a possibility for a few showers and thunderstorms across the area from Thursday going into Friday. But Saturday, temperature expected to peak at around 82 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms are likely with a few scattered showers on Sunday. But let's look at Monday's forecast. Gosh, conditions are becoming less humid across the area, and that is just when we're about to head out of town. So we clear up and we feel more comfortable by the start of the next week.
Listen, I'm just happy that we're going into the weekend with good weather, no rain.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I can't wait to get out there and get that jog.
Yes,
Thank
go for it.
Thanks, Peta. The largest mall in North America is in our backyard. Coming up next, find out how you can visit the hidden gems of Minneapolis for less than $5.
And the next time you see a homeless person on the street, don't be so quick to judge. Coming up, we'll show you how vets are helping each other get back on their feet.
The friendship, the camaraderie, the I am not alone in my journey, that others have similar instances and have overcome similar roadblocks, and it's made it very valuable and fun to be a part of.
All of us at WCCO TV are honored to support the National Association of Black Journalists.
Your commitment to recognizing and developing talent and providing programs and services to Black journalists worldwide is truly inspiring.
Thank you, NABJ.
Our fellow Minnesotans are serving our country and making sacrifices on our behalf every day, and they deserve a record-breaking thank you. In honor of all who have served, WCCO has created More Than Names, an accomplished Minnesota campaign of gratitude and support. You'll be able to sign our larger-than-life flag at events across the state.
I signed because I'm proud of my dad and what he's done for this country.
Why will you sign? Let's accomplish Minnesota. There's a new local show that's dynamic, fresh, conversational, and informative. And the best part? It's on every weekday at 9 a.m. Experience the show that keeps everyone talking. WCCO Mid-Morning with Jason DeRusha and Kylie Verse.
From the Stone Arch Bridge to the Sculpture Garden, downtown Minneapolis has a lot of popular spots you may be familiar with.
But Raji Ramanathan shows us the places locals recommend for less than $5.
6 blocks from the Hotel and Convention Center is the Nicollet Mall Light Rail Station. For less than $2, you can hop on the Blue Line and explore Minneapolis. Want a great background for your selfie? Only 2 stops from Nicollet Mall is the new Vikings Stadium. Minneapolis is home to the Vikings football team. In 2018, the billion-dollar stadium will host a Super Bowl. The following year, NCAA Final Four. If you want to escape downtown without leaving the city, Minneapolis is a perfect place with its many parks and trails. A popular spot, Minnehaha Falls. This 53-foot waterfall spills into the Mississippi River. It's no secret that Minnesota is land of the 10,000 lakes. Walk a few blocks from Minnehaha Falls and you'll be at Lake Nokomis. Here you can paddleboard, swim, kayak, or go for a walk around the lake. Take the Blue Line to the end and you'll reach Mall of America. There are roller coasters and even a zip line inside the mall. This is the largest mall in North America. 7 Yankee stadiums can fit inside. If you don't want to take advantage of the 520 stores, check out a movie. NABJ participants will be among the 40 million people that visit the mall every year. In case you didn't know, in Minnesota, there's no sales tax on clothes. For NABJ TV, this is Raji Ramanathan. Now, if you excuse me, I've got some shopping to do.
For more places to visit, you can check out the website, themonitor.org. And if you're one of the millions who text, you want to listen to this.
If you're not careful, it can lead to what physicians call text neck, pain caused by poor posture while texting. They tell us when the neck is placed at a downward 45-degree angle, sustained pressure strains the spinal cord and nerves. The results, headache, neck pain, and even tingling in the fingers.
So when I talk about text neck, normally there's a nice curvature in the cervical spine or neck. When you're constantly looking downwards, these muscles on the side, they spasm up, get tight, puts a pressure on these discs, and the spine starts to think that's normal, that's how it should be.
The next time you reach for your smartphone, remember this advice from Dr. Robbins. Lift it to the eye level, stretch, take breaks to avoid text neck.
The homeless person you see on the street could be a soldier struggling after coming home from war. And the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans, MACV, is taking steps to get them off the streets. When the national anthem plays, it evokes a sense of pride for these vets. But look a little closer, and you may see a soldier fighting to make it as a civilian.
I had nowhere to go. I was serious about changing my life, but then what?
63-year-old Air Force veteran Doran Hawker says the MACV and the Stand Down events have helped him to change his life.
I've come from living in the street, drug addicted, alcohol, to being invited to the White House to meet our First Lady.
Hawker's story is John Zimmer's story. This 62-year-old Navy veteran says he couldn't afford a haircut since he lost his job, and this free trim will help.
I'm a vet and looking for work, and been looking for about a year.
This Stand Down event has a special place in NABJ President Bob Butler's heart.
I know what it's like to be out on the street. It is not fun.
Butler served 3 years in the Navy and says he was homeless for a short period.
I never forget walking around the streets of Philadelphia at night, trying to find some place to sit down, some place to lay down.
That's one reason he pushed for NABJ to partner with MACV.
I chose veterans because I'm a veteran.
U.S. servicemen get assistance with housing, health benefits, legal, and other services for free. Also, the MACV has coordinated with many companies to donate much-needed items to the veterans, things such as this T-shirt here, diabetic socks, underwear, and even much-needed items like shampoo and toothpaste. Hawker now gives back to the organization that helped him to get back on his feet.
Part of what I do is give other people that hope.
Now, the Stand Down concept was used during the Vietnam War when soldiers came to secure base camps to relax, eat, and receive medical attention. NABJ is donating furniture to the MACV housing facilities during the conference week. And it's a beef between 2 local restaurants.
They've been vying for the juiciest burger in town for nearly 7 decades.
Coming here is a great opportunity for me to network, get contacts, apply for jobs, interview for jobs. So NABJ kind of gives me all the tools I need to find a job.
All of us at WCCO TV are honored to support the National Association of Black Journalists.
Your commitment to recognizing and developing talent and providing programs and services to black journalists worldwide is truly inspiring.
Thank you, NABJ.
Minnesotans know you gotta make your weekends count, so you start planning Friday.
Really? Friday? You're kidding, right?
Okay, Thursday.
Seriously?
Wednesday?
Wow. Does your boss know?
Okay, yeah, we start planning before Friday too.
Busted.
And this just doesn't cut it.
Nope.
So each Wednesday, we'll take this and break it down to this. Every forecast, every show, fine-tuning as we go. Make the most of your time off with WCCO's Weekend Walkthrough. Football starts here. Thursday Night Football is on CCO. WCCO, always.
Make sure to check out the Reportedly Black podcast by the Student Project's Converge team. The podcast tackles the subject of blackness versus journalism and will be available Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on nabjmonitor.org. We may be in the Twin Cities, but there's another popular pair at local food spots.
Reporter Dayon Morton joins us now with a Minnesota staple. It's a cuisine with a cheesy name, but it's definitely serious business.
That's right. It's the friendly battle between two burgers, and when it comes to the best taste, I was definitely up for the test. It's juicy.
Gooey cheese.
But not with an I.
They misspelled it and they just never corrected it.
But at the restaurant called 5-8, it looks like this.
We just say we know how to spell.
It's a burger that even the leader of the country had to try.
What we do is we hand squeeze the burger, so when we throw it on the grill, the cheese inside becomes liquid, and therefore we got the Juicy Lucy.
It's known as the Juicy Lucy. They say it was invented by a man named Matt Bistro in 1962.
Him and a customer back in the day were messing around one afternoon and created this burger, and they misspelled it and never corrected it.
And for nearly 65 years, the two restaurants, Matt's Bar and 5-8 Club, have debated about who made it first.
When we did our 80th anniversary party, we had a historian, and everybody thinks that it's either Matt's or us.
But with both restaurants being 3 miles apart, it's not about who made it first, it's about who made it better.
I always tell people, you really can't compare apples to apples. It's different.
But according to local customers,
they're both good in their own right. I myself prefer Matt's over the 5-8 just because, I don't know, I like the onion flavor a little better.
For now, we'll leave the decision up to you. But there's a warning.
Take a tiny nibble as our cheese is very hot inside, okay?
So it's located about 15 minutes away from the hotel. So if you are free, be sure to go out and check it out. It's one place you don't want to miss.
Absolutely. Which one was your favorite?
I would have to say Matt's Bar. That was the best.
If Obama tried it, I have to try it.
You have to. You have to.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Zyrus, can you tell us a little about the sports going on around here?
Of course I can. Guys, picture the Vikings emerging from the huddle with one of the receivers from Detroit Lakes and the other from Caledonia. An all-Minnesota receiving core, former Mankato Maverick Adam Thielen and former Gopher Isaac Frickty. As David McCoy tells us, it's something we could see in the preseason, but both have bigger dreams than that.
Adam Thielen paved the path from Minnesota High School to Minnesota College to Minnesota Viking, a path Isaac Frickty is now trying to follow. It's one reason why he worked out with Thielen this summer and peppered him for advice.
Just kind of give me little niches here, things that I got to do to, compete and, get my name out there.
Thielen's name, of course, is already out there after earning a roster spot in camp last year and making solid contributions during the season, which makes this his first camp where, instead of trying to take a spot, he's trying to hold on to one.
I'm going to approach it the same. I got a lot to prove. I want to improve on every year. Every year I come here, I want to improve on the season before. And so I have a lot of things to build on from last year, and I'm excited to be able to go and show that I can do more.
Like Thielen, Frickty went undrafted. Like Thielen, he impressed at the Vikings' annual rookie tryout to earn a spot in training camp. And like Thielen, his best bet is probably to start out on the practice squad. With Mike Wallace, Cordero Patterson, Charles Johnson, and Jarius Wright all locks to make the roster, and Stephon Diggs and Thielen likely getting the final 2 receiver spots, Frichty's work is cut out for him. And that's without even mentioning the other 5 receivers in camp. Not that that discourages him.
You know, I think just go out and give 100% effort at all times. If you do that, I think, you know, at the end, you're going to be happy with what you did. No matter if they keep you or they cut you, whatever happens, you know, as long as you play as hard as you can, you really can't regret anything after that.
The Vikings kick off the NFL preseason Sunday night in the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yes, from here on out, we will have pro football in one form or another every Sunday until mid-February. On the Pro Golf Tour, it's up to you to make the cut. For Troy Merritt, who attended Spring Lake Park High School, a birdie putt on 18 helped cement his future in the PGA, winning the Quicken Loans tournament. The $1 million first prize doesn't hurt, but the automatic entry into the PGA Championship in 2 weeks and next year's Masters is the real bonus. He had missed the cut in his last 5 tourneys.
Thanks, Iris. Well, that's all we have. Thanks for watching NABJ TV.
Have a wonderful time at the convention.